Okay, let's go. Let's look at this slide. It's called cash value life insurance versus buy term and invest the difference. Now, when people say what's the difference? The difference is the money that you save by not buying whole life. Okay, that's what the difference is. In other words, if you subtract the money the price of term insurance from the price of cash value life insurance, whatever that when you subtract one from the other, that's a difference. Okay, that's what you're going to invest. Okay, the money you save. So you're going to save the difference. You're going to save that money that you save by not buying the whole life, in other words. So check this out. Here are examples of cash value life insurance. Cash value life insurance is there are different types. There's whole life, there's universal life, and there's variable life. Those are the three main type of cash value life insurance. Now, why do they call it cash value life insurance? Because you have life insurance, and included with that life insurance, you have cash value that builds up in the policy. So that's why they call them cash value policies. And because they have cash in them, you know they're going to be more expensive because you're not just paying for the life insurance, you're paying for the savings within the policy too. So let's look at this example. John and Mary are married, okay? John has $150,000 worth of life insurance on himself. Mary has $150,000 worth of life insurance on herself. Together, they're paying $298 in premium for those two policies. As they pay that premium over the years, they build up what we call cash value in the policy. So money builds up in here. So, it builds up a different amount depending upon the company that you have. But let's just say after 25 years, you build up let's say you build up after 25 years, you build up $100,000 saved up in the policy, okay? So now if you have $100,000 in cash value, that's money that's saved in the policy, supposedly for you. And your death benefit on both of them are $150,000. So let's say John were to pass away with that $100,000 in the policy, and then his death benefit is $150,000. How much would his wife Mary receive upon John's death? Well, what would happen is Mary would receive $150,000 of death benefit, but the $100,000 in cash value, the company's going to keep it. Can you believe that? They got the audacity to keep your money. So all the savings you saved up, they'll keep it upon John's death. That's the way whole life works. You don't get the death benefit and the cash value. I mean, most people think they get that, but they don't know. They've never been explained to them. It's never been explained to them that they're going to lose all the cash value that builds up in the policy. And that's a shame that nobody really tells the people that. So anyway, the same thing happened if Mary were to die. If she dies and there's $100,000 in the policy, all they're going to give John is it's $150,000. They're going to keep the $100,000 that's inside the policy. That's the cash value. So essentially what you're looking at is this. If John dies and they pay off $150,000, they really didn't give Mary $150,000. What they did was, they gave him $150,000, but here's where it came from. Since they keep your $100,000 worth of cash value, they're gonna let you pay when somebody dies with $100,000 in the policy. You pay $150,000 for your own. You pay $100,000 of your own death benefit using your money, and all the company has to do is put $50,000 with it. And therefore, now the wife gets $50,000 from the company and $100,000 from John, who died. And that's how she gets $150,000 because they keep all your cash value. So isn't that crazy? You could have bought the term insurance and at least you would have paid a lot less for the policy, and then you would have gotten the full death benefit. You see what I mean? So don't let the company take advantage of you by buying this whole life stuff. Okay. Now here's another thing too. Let's just say neither John nor Mary died, for a while. Okay, they're still alive when they got that $100,000 in the policy. They're still alive. Nobody died yet. So if John wanted some money from that $100,000 he saved up, how would he get it? Well, what they do is they make John borrow the money from the policy. Isn't that pitiful? He had to borrow his own money from the policy to get it, and then if he dies with the money not paid back, they're gonna subtract away from they're gonna subtract the amount that he didn't pay back from the death benefit. So if he borrows $10,000, he dies and he didn't pay it back, his wife is only gonna get $140,000. You see what happens? So anyway, that's how whole life works, guys. So anyway, we got something we think that's a lot better, that we know is a lot better, and that's called term insurance. Because see, $150,000 normally is not enough to even pay the mortgage off on a house. So when somebody dies, you want to at least pay the mortgage off or at least replace the man's income for 10 years, especially if he has a young kid. So let's just say John's making $30,000 a year, Mary's making $30,000 a year in income. So to really properly protect them and protect their income, they need about 10 times 30,000, 10 years of 30,000, right? So each one of them really needs about $300,000 a piece if they're making $30,000 a year. So we give them $300,000 a piece in life insurance. All right, now we even cover, look, the kids not even covered over here on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, we give the kids $25,000 a piece on those 2 kids they got, okay? So now so they got $25,000 on both kids and they got $300,000, twice the coverage as they had before. But guess what? Now, if we made them pay $298, it sounds like it's about right? But we're not even going to charge them. We're not going to charge them $298 a month. All we're going to do is we're going to double the coverage and include the kids. Only charge them $123 a month. Isn't that a lot better? Well, that's what we do, guys. We give you a lot more coverage for the money. And now, how much money do we free up? They got twice as much coverage and they got the kids covered. And this term insurance lasts for 35 years straight. You ain't got to worry about it going up every year. It's going to stay level for 35 years straight. So check us out. So how much money did we free up? So if you subtract the $123, which is the premium for the term insurance, you subtract that from the $298, which is what they were paying for the whole life policies. If you subtract that from the $298, look how much money you free up. $175 has been freed up every month now to save. Isn't that incredible? That's exciting. So they got twice the coverage on the kids, $25,000 a piece. And look, when they have any more babies, they can get those covered for free. Any more kids they have, they get that covered for free. But anyway, let's just focus on that $175. The $175 that they have freed up, they now can invest that money at 9% into an investment. Okay, let's say we put it into a mutual fund. And it builds up to be $518,000. A mutual fund is just an investment that we can do for people, okay? So that'll be $518,000 saved up over that 35-year period of time. Isn't that amazing? At age 70, in 35 years, he's 35 and she's 33. So by the time they get 7 years old, they saved up $518,000. And guess what? Now, if John dies, what does Mary get? See, over here, you didn't get the cash value, right? But with this policy, with this program we got over here, if John dies at age 7 years old, then what happens is Mary gets a check for $300,000 in death benefit. That's a death benefit from the life insurance. Plus, she gets something else. What else she gets? She gets all of the money that's in the investment account too. $518,000. So Mary gets over $818,000. That'll help take care of the funeral. That'll pay off the house. That'll do everything for her and for the surviving members of the family in case something happens. Okay. So that's now, and if Mary dies, then John also will get, if John lives and Mary dies, then John gets $300,000 in death benefit plus all the money that's in investment too. So he'll get $818,000. Is that amazing? But think about this. Here's something even better. Let's say, which a lot of people are not dead by 7 years old, okay? If neither one of them die by 7 years old, guess what they can get? No, they don't get the death benefit because they're still alive. They get $518,000. That's awesome. They get $518,000 all saved up. They can have that, guys, for not dying. We're going to pay them $518,000 for not dying. And if somebody does die, we're going to pay that plus the $518,000. I mean, think about this now. If you live, we're going to give you $518,000. Now look at the old policy. Even if both people had died, if both parents had died, the kids would have only gotten $150,000 plus $150,000. They would have gotten $300,000 total. Is all the kids would have gotten if both parents died. Over here, you get $518,000 for living. You get almost. I mean, it's like that's amazing that you can get that much money for living. And plus, if you save up $518,000 in investments, guess what you don't need anymore? You don't need these policies anymore because now you're self-insured. If anything happened with the funeral, you got enough funeral costs, you got enough to pay the house off, you got everything. So you can drop these policies now. You don't have to keep them for the rest of your life. See, when you buy whole life, you're supposed to keep it for your whole life because that's why they call them whole life. You pay from the time you get it to the time you get 100 years old. And then you stop, okay? But with this, you're self-insured. You don't need the policy anymore. And matter of fact, what you can do is you can drop the policies by age 70 or whatever. And you can take the 123 you're spending for these policies, dump that in there with the 518,000, and in 5 years you got $1 million saved up. Is that awesome? You got $1 million saved up by dropping the policy, going and dumping that money in there, and then that money grow even faster. So that's what we do. We teach you how to become self-insured with your own money. And then let me show you something else too. What if with this new program you got here, let's say something happened to both John and Mary. How much would the kids get? The kids would get $300,000 for dad dying, $300,000 for mom dying. That's $600,000 the kids get. What else do the kids get? Yep, they get all the investment too. They get $518,000. So they got over $1.1 million the kids will get upon the death of the parents. Both parents died at the same time. Okay, now, what if you don't train these kids about the rule of 72 and how money works? If you don't train them, what are they gonna do with all that $1.1 million if you die? Yep, they're gonna blow every penny, and they're gonna have all the money gonna be spent within a year. And you're going to want to come out of your grave and choke your kids for spending all that money. But you know whose fault it is for that didn't happen? It's your fault if you didn't train your kids. You got to teach your kids. You got to leave them money, but you got to teach them. You got to give them the wealth of the knowledge also about how money works. Because if you don't, they're going to end up blowing all the money. Okay, so you want to leave an inheritance to your children's children, but not just the money. You want to leave them the knowledge that goes along with the money, and they'll be able to keep the money and keep it going down from generation to generation. So every time a Jackson is born, if that's your last name, if their client's last name, then all the Jacksons are wealthy because Mr. Jackson, Mrs. Jackson set it up like that. So all the Jacksons that are born from that point on will be millionaires and wealthy by the time they get 25 years old. That's the kind of legacy we can do for people if we know this rule of 72. Without it, people are crippled and they're going to lose if they don't really know this knowledge. And anyway, but that's how this program works. So let me ask you a tough question. Looking at both sides, the left side and the right side, let me ask you a question. Which program would you want, the one on the left or the one on the right? Take your time. I know it's tough. Do you see how simple this is? And you ask clients and they'll let you know they want the one on the right. And when they want the one on the right, you say, good, I agree with you. Let me help you set that up. You know what I mean? All you got to do is get their budget and help them get it. So basically, guys, that's how we explain this page. It's a lot on the page, but if you just listen to this and do it over and over again, you'll have it down. Awesome, guys.